The night was quiet in the small town of Ridgewood, where the streetlights flickered like tired eyes trying to stay awake. In a cozy little house at the end of Birch Lane, a black family slept peacefully, unaware that the world outside was about to turn against them. The father, Marcus Hayes, a calm man with a deep voice and stronger heart, had lived a life most people couldn't imagine. To the neighbors, he was a mechanic, the guy who helped fix cars on weekends and never charged too much. To his kids, he was Daddy, the one who made pancakes shaped like hearts and stayed up to help with school projects. But to a few people in a world he had left behind years ago, Marcus was something else, entirely a name whispered with both fear and respect. Ghost, the man who once led a chapter of the Hells Angels motorcycle club. Now, Marcus had buried that life deep. He'd left the club, built a family, and promised his wife Janelle that he would never go back. But promises have a way of being tested, and that night, as the wind picked up, so did fate. A hard knock at the door broke the stillness. Thud, thud, thud. Janelle stirred first, her eyes half open, confused. Marcus sat up instantly. He knew that knock wasn't friendly. It was the kind of knock that came with authority and trouble. He glanced at the digital clock on the nightstand. 12:47 a.m. Marcus. Who's that? Janelle whispered, clutching the blanket. Stay here, he said quietly, already pulling on his sweatpants. His instincts kicked in, old reflexes from a life on the edge. He walked down the hall, barefoot on the creaking wood floor, and peeked through the blinds. Red and blue lights flashed outside, painting his living room in stripes of chaos. 3 police cruisers. At least 6 officers. Marcus's gut tightened. He opened the door halfway. Can I help you, officers? A tall white cop with a buzz cut stepped forward, hand resting on his holster. His badge read LT, Simmons. Marcus Hayes? Yeah, that's me. We received a report of illegal weapons being stored on this property. Marcus frowned. That's impossible. I don't own any weapons. Simmons smirked. Mind if we come in and take a look? Yes, I mind, Marcus said, standing his ground. Do you have a warrant? The lieutenant's jaw twitched. Not yet. But if you've got nothing to hide, you wouldn't mind helping us out. Marcus's voice stayed calm, but his eyes were sharp. Come back when you've got the paper. That calmness measured, confident set Simmons off. He hated it. He wanted fear. Instead, he got control. We'll be back, he said through gritted teeth, then turned to his team. Keep the house under watch. Marcus shut the door slowly, heart pounding. He knew what this was. Someone was setting him up. When he turned around, Janelle was standing at the hallway entrance, holding their daughter Mia's teddy bear. What's going on, Marcus? Cops. Said something about weapons. It's nothing, baby. Go back to bed. But it wasn't nothing. Marcus could already sense the old world creeping back in. The next morning, as the sun lit up the neighborhood, 2 patrol cars were still parked across the street. Neighbors watched, whispering. Kids on bikes slowed down to stare. The air felt heavy with judgment. Marcus tried to go to work at the garage, but one of the officers followed him, making sure everyone saw. By noon, his boss pulled him aside. Look, Marcus, people are talking. I gotta let you go, at least until this thing clears up. Marcus nodded slowly. I get it. He walked home in silence, anger simmering. He had worked for years to build this quiet life, to prove people wrong about who he was. But to the world, sometimes skin color and a past you've outgrown are enough to make you guilty before proven innocent. That evening, as he pulled into his driveway, a neighbor, a white man named Rick, shouted from across the fence, Guess the rumors were true, huh, Marcus? Once a criminal, always a criminal? Marcus turned, staring him down but saying nothing. Silence can cut deeper than words. When he got inside, Janelle met him with worried eyes. What are we going to do? Marcus kissed her forehead. We'll get through this. Together. But then the unthinkable happened. At 8:42 p.m., the police returned, this time with a warrant. They stormed in, shouting, pushing Marcus to the ground in front of his wife and daughter. Mia screamed, Daddy! Stay down! One officer barked, pressing his knee into Marcus's back. Janelle cried out, He didn't do anything. They tore the house apart, flipped furniture, broke picture frames, tossed drawers. And in the chaos, one cop shouted, "Got something!" He held up a small handgun wrapped in a cloth planted. Marcus knew it instantly. He hadn't owned a weapon in years. Simmons grinned. "Guess we found your nothing to hide, huh?" Marcus stared up from the floor, breathing hard. "You're making a big mistake. Tell it to the judge," Simmons sneered. They dragged him out, hands cuffed, while the neighbors filmed from their porches. Phones out, flashlights flashing. Judgment spreading faster than truth. Mia ran out crying, her small hands clutching the air. "Daddy!" Marcus looked back one last time. "It's okay, baby girl. Daddy's gonna fix this." But as the door of the squad car slammed shut, he knew this was more than a misunderstanding. Someone wanted to destroy his life. At the police station, Simmons leaned across the table during interrogation. "So, Ghost, you think you can play innocent? We know who you are. Hell's Angels, right?" "Ex-con, biker gang muscle?" Marcus's eyes darkened. "You don't know me." "Oh, I think we do, and we know your kind. You people never change." Marcus clenched his fists under the table, but stayed silent. Simmons smiled, satisfied. "That's what I thought." He walked out, leaving Marcus alone in the flickering light of the interrogation room. But Marcus wasn't just sitting there helpless. He was thinking, planning. Because he knew if someone had set him up, he could find out who. And the man they called Ghost wasn't dead. He'd just been sleeping. That night, as the door opened and Marcus was thrown into a holding cell, a voice from the corner whispered, "Didn't think I'd see you again, brother." Marcus turned. A familiar face from the past tank, one of his old biker brothers. Marcus's jaw tightened. "What are you doing here?" "Same as you? Somebody's pulling strings, man?" "I heard the cops been targeting ex-angels across the state." Marcus looked away. "They just messed with the wrong family." Tank grinned. "Then I guess Ghost is back." Marcus didn't reply, but his eyes said everything. Outside the station, Janelle sat in their car, crying quietly, holding Mia in her lap. She didn't know how, but she was going to fight back too. And somewhere in the darkness, unseen eyes watched them from a black SUV. A man with a phone to his ear whispered, "Yeah." He took the bait. Time to move to phase 2. The clang of the cell door echoed like a hammer hitting steel, sharp enough to slice through Marcus's thoughts. He sat on the narrow bunk, elbows on his knees, staring at the cracked concrete floor. The fluorescent light above him buzzed unevenly, flickering every few seconds, just enough to remind him he was caged. Around him, men muttered in low tones, some laughing, others plotting. But Marcus stayed silent, eyes cold, heartbeat steady. He'd been in worse places before. The difference now was that last time he deserved it. This time he was paying for a crime that didn't exist, and someone wanted him exactly here. Across the cell, Tank leaned against the wall, tattoos crawling up his arms like maps of old wars. "They're scared of you, Ghost," he said under his breath. "You should see the way Simmons looked when they brought you in. Man's itching to make a name off you." Marcus didn't lift his head. Let him itch. "He'll scratch himself raw before I give him what he wants." Tank smirked. "Still got that fire. I missed that." Marcus's eyes flicked up. "You still with the club?" Tank's grin faded. "Most of them scattered. After you left, the new boys got greedy guns, cash, deals gone bad. Then cops came knocking. Now it's just a few of us left who remember what it used to mean." "What it used to mean," Marcus repeated quietly. "Brotherhood, not chaos." Tank nodded. "Exactly." He hesitated, then leaned closer. "Word on the street is the feds are sniffing around, too. Somebody's feeding them names. Maybe that's how they found you." Marcus felt a chill crawl down his spine. "Someone inside," Tank shrugged. "Or someone outside who knows the inside too well." Meanwhile, across town, Janelle sat at the kitchen table, phone in one hand, coffee untouched. Her eyes were red, her hair pulled back in a messy bun that hadn't seen a comb since the night Marcus was taken. She'd been calling lawyers all morning, but none wanted to touch a case tied to the Hell's Angels. Stigma sticks harder than truth. Mia sat at the table coloring, glancing at her mother every few minutes. "Mommy, is Daddy coming home today?" Janelle forced a smile. He will, baby. Mommy's just gotta help the police understand they made a mistake. From outside, tires crunched on gravel. Janelle's head snapped toward the window. That same black SUV sat across the street, tinted windows reflecting the morning sun. No plates visible. She exhaled shakily, whispering, "Why are they watching us?" Her phone buzzed a message from an unknown number. "Keep quiet if you want him safe." Her heart stopped. Back at the station, Simmons walked into the holding area with two other officers, tossing a file onto the table. Well, Ghost, guess what we found? Your fingerprints on that gun." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "That's impressive, since I've never seen that gun before." Simmons leaned forward, voice low. "You think you can scare me with that calm act? I know you're type angry, violent, pretending to be reformed. But people like you don't change, you just hide better." Marcus didn't flinch. "You done?" Simmons slammed his hand on the table. "You're gonna rot in there until I find everything you're hiding." "Good luck," Marcus said evenly. "You'll need it." As Simmons stormed out, Tank chuckled softly. "You're really poking the bear, huh?" Marcus finally smiled faintly. "He came into my house." I'm just reminding him it's still mine. Outside the station, a woman in a gray suit was arguing with a deputy, Janelle. "I'm here to see my husband, Marcus Hayes. You can't hold him without cause." "Ma'am, we have probable cause." "Then show me the evidence," she snapped, her voice trembling with fury. The deputy looked uneasy. "You'll have to speak with Lieutenant Simmons." Janelle folded her arms. "Then get him." Minutes later, Simmons appeared, fake smile plastered on his face. "Mrs. Hayes, I was just about to call you. We're still sorting through the evidence." "Evidence you planted," she said under her breath. "What was that?" he asked. "I said you're wrong," she replied louder. Simmons leaned in. "Let me give you some advice, Mrs. Hayes. Don't dig too deep. Sometimes the truth gets people hurt." She stared at him, unblinking. "You threatening me?" "Just concerned," he said smoothly, then turned to walk away. But as he disappeared down the hall, Janelle's phone buzzed again. Another text, same number. "He's not who you think he is. Stay out of it." Her fingers shook, but her eyes hardened. She whispered to herself, "You picked the wrong family."